Melania gets last-minute secret message from Queen which makes Michelle furious. Melania Trump is back on the world stage as she accompanies President Donald Trump for a one-week trip to Europe. Most important on the stops for FLOTUS will be her visit with Queen Elizabeth II at Windsor Castle. The Queen remembers the many snafus by former First Lady Michelle Obama, and so the British monarch just sent Melania a secret message which makes Michelle furious. Ahead of the Trump's trip to Europe, the British press was reeling with numerous reports about the first meeting between President Donald Trump and Queen Elizabeth II. This may seem like not such a big deal to Americans, but for foreign relations with our British ally, the stakes couldn't be higher. Luckily, Trump's secret weapon is his First Lady, who is from Europe and understands how they do things on that side of the pond. We can't forget the British press going nuts over Barack and Michelle Obama's breach of etiquette on several occasions when they visited with the Queen.Time Magazine reported back in 2009. The rules are set in stone, and so the eagerly watching British media sputtered when the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama, briefly put her hand on the back of Queen Elizabeth II as the two chatted at a reception. Etiquette is quite stern about this: whatever you do, don't touch the Queen. Barack Obama himself stepped into it when he launched into a long speech as God Saves the Queen started to play. Immediately, all guests at the state dinner stood at attention as the former president continued bloviating. It was truly cringeworthy. Even the mainstream media had to report on it. So you can see where the leftist press will be just waiting for President Trump or Melania to commit some type of error. Well, the Queen seems to be on Trump's side, or at least she doesn't want any international incident. The British monarch went through back channels to ensure Melania received a message about everything she needs to know. How do we know? Trump's ambassador to the United Kingdom, Robert Wood Johnson, was that back channel. Sky News reported, Mr. Johnson was asked by Sky's Kay Burley whether the itinerary would include seeing the Queen. He replied, yes, I mean he has to see the head of state. Putting his foot on British soil, it's job one, it's very important, very symbolic. Meeting Her Majesty is the most important thing, because she's the head of state, and from then on, it'll be what the president wants to do. Other reports include Johnson taking the mystery out of what the proper etiquette would be, and since he works for Trump, there is no doubt Mr. Johnson was given the advice directly from Buckingham Palace. The UK Express reports, despite her important post of First Lady of the United States, there are numerous rules Melania will have to follow when she meets the Queen. She will be expected to curtsy or bow her head. Melania should only shake hands with the Queen if she offers it, however, as Her Majesty shouldn't be touched. Then there's the other rule the Obamas didn't follow. The correct address to the Queen is Your Majesty and subsequently, ma'am pronounced like ham. She will also have to arrive early as guests should always arrive before a royal. Further royal rules to follow include taking the Queen's lead. Melania will have to wait for the Queen to address her and for the Queen to sit before she does. The Obamas were seen walking in front of the Queen with the palace courtiers shaking their heads. Already the American press is ramping up, hoping for disaster. NBC News posted an article titled, Trump is set to meet the Queen. Here's what he shouldn't do. They go on to report, as Donald Trump prepares to make his first visit to the United Kingdom as president, one moment could outshine all others, his meeting with the Queen. He's a massive Anglophile and he'll want to impress. Camilla Tominey, a royal expert and the political editor of the Sunday Express newspaper, told NBC News. I don't think he's going to want to put a foot wrong. It's great to know the Queen is secretly wishing the Trumps well and is even sending them special instructions to Trump's ambassador. Sure, our State Department has notes on how the president should act in certain cultures abroad, but this time the Queen went out of her way to make sure POTUS and FLOTUS don't end up like the Obamas. The mainstream media won't be forgiving, and they'll try to embarrass especially Melania. We can only guess how furious Michelle Obama will be after